Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 5 of Learning Bytes with me, Marco. Thanks for coming back week and week and after week. And here we are. I promised a whammy in the last episode, and this time around, we're going to call this one We're All Faking It. What do I mean by that? Well, let me bring you back to a time when I took my very first official training job. I remember sitting on a bench outside of a Marriott in Fort Lauderdale, and I had just gone through the most grueling interview experience of my life where we had to do like group interviews and presentations. I mean, it was a training job for God's sake. So, yes, you had to go out there and show what you had. And I remember everybody that had got to go ahead of me got to go into the little interview rooms. And essentially, what they were doing, it was kind of brutal at the time. They had an interview room where you would go in, and essentially it was a thanks but no thanks. And then there was another room where you were going in to kind of like do further interviews, and they were actually hiring people on the spot because they were hiring people to go in for these like regional, local training jobs for a big, big, big technology company. And essentially, I remember being left out, being the last one there, and the gentleman that was interviewing the head person kind of came out with his luggage like he was leaving, and he looked at me. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're still here. Great. I'm glad you stuck by. Like, walk with me. I'm gonna wait for the taxi outside." So here we are on this bench, and essentially he just looks at me and says, I don't think you're kind of cut out for this job." And I'm like, "Oh wow, well thank you for talking to me, but you are cut out for something bigger. Would you want to be a traveling trainer for this brand and go all around the country? Because you seem very outgoing and you're just going to love this. I think you're meant for it." I'm going like, "Really?" And I just could not believe myself at the time. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to get on a plane now. I want to work with my assistant and we'll go ahead and get you an offer letter by the end of the day." I'm like going like, "Shoot." And this was on a Thursday. And he's like, "Can you start Monday?" And I'm like, "Yes." I mean, I didn't even hesitate. And sure enough, later on that day, I get a offer letter and I look at the amount and I'm going like, "Holy crap. Like there's no way. Like this isn't real. Like did I just like completely con these people into hiring me?" It completely happened. It just like shell shocked me and I'm going like, "This is going to be me." And I had done some training gigs before, but nothing to this extent. And that's where I believe I experienced for the first time in my life this imposter syndrome, which was like, I am not supposed to be here. How the heck am I going to do all these things? And, I showed up. I remember flying to California for my first day. And I fly in, and essentially I get assigned a trainer, and he's sitting down, and I'm next to other people. And I'm noticing that everybody's just as nervous and shocked to be there. So I kind of go along with the flow. And, a few weeks had gone by, and this leader that had hired me, who's now one of my biggest mentors, I asked him the question. We were having a couple drinks and an after work party we were all getting together for. And I said, "What did you see in me? Because to be honest, I didn't think I was qualified." And he's like, "You're absolutely qualified. You may not meet everything that we have in a job description for this kind of job, but you had something about you that was just absolutely special that allowed me to take that leap of faith." And you know what? Every job ever since, I have felt that imposter syndrome take me over because I've escalated in my career. And I have always felt that you're never going to meet 100% of the requirements. Hey, hell, you might not even meet most of the requirements, but there's always going to be that one thing. There's absolutely going to be that one thing that is going to set you apart and is going to want to make someone take a chance on you so that you too can experience that new career opportunity to really excel in it. So going back to job requirements, right? Like when you look at a job description, the JD, as they call it in the HR world, you might see different things that are listed on there, especially when it comes to these learning and development jobs and instructional design jobs. Like where they'll say like, "We require you to have this, require you to have that," and then all of a sudden they'll start going into the preferred category. And I was a hiring manager, so I've been in that position where I've helped put together job descriptions And I've also hired many, many, many people in my day. And what I could tell you is that once you get to the area of preferred, they're not saying, oh, gee, I would prefer that they have a master's degree. Like that's something they're going to have for me to hire them. I wouldn't go with that. Think of the preferred as like, you want to know something? If you don't have any qualities that are really strong about yourself, and we were to look at anybody else, and at the end of the day, we end up with all these people that, seem to have a lot of the qualities that mirror each other's. If somebody happens to have a master's degree, we'll likely gravitate towards that person. That necessarily means that they're going to hire them. But I can tell you that in positions where we've had to write job descriptions where we put in that master's degree because we were trying to get a higher pay. Because in my last episode, I talked about that, how in HR, sometimes you have to put things in the job description to elevate the amount that you need to be able to pay somebody. So your comp department will umph that up. So essentially, that's not what we're looking for. What a hiring manager is looking for is essentially passion. Passion doesn't always come through as a personality that's an extrovert, because I talked about that as well in earlier episodes. You don't have to be that. You just have to find the one thing that makes you different, that makes you special, your niche, right? Or your niche, right? And it's just, if you think about like restaurants that open up, right? Like if everybody opened up a burger joint within like, less than 200 yards of each other, there's not a whole lot you can do because, unless your burger is like extra special and extra different, or you happen to have like a name brand that people recognize, your business might not do as well as you hope it to. But if there's something about you that comes out that is completely different that you can bring to the table to that hiring manager, where they see that passion essentially come to life, materialized, then they will take that chance on you, even if you're missing half of the things that are in that job description. So my moral of this story, or the moral of the story, shall I say, is you need to fake it till you make it. Because we're all faking it, right? We all get into those jobs, right? You can train all you want all your life, but you're going to get to a place that once you're in those jobs, that's where the learning constantly happens. You never stop learning. So that's where faking it till you make it means. It doesn't mean that you just kind of half-ass the job. It means you're doing your best and you figure it as you go. But as long as you have that passion and you bring it to life, you will be very successful. I hope this episode really touched your heartstrings and made you want to go for those opportunities and positions you normally wouldn't go for, because believe me, you'd be very surprised at what you can do and what you can achieve. Until next time, my friends.